pre-recorded.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment rights. Welcome to 2 full hours of Gun Owners Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz, will teach you about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your rights to keep and bear arms. Visit gunownersradio.com with questions to learn how to become a sponsor of Gun Owners Radio and get involved. Together, we will win. Now here's your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer. Our Second Amendment Celebration Gala is next weekend, and boy, are there some cool auction items.
But first, sometimes buying or selling your home can be very overwhelming. That's why we are excited to have Scott Vinson with Caldwell Banker Royal Realty as our show sponsor. Scott is a tremendously experienced real estate broker with a passion for customer service. Scott is also a San Diego County Gun Owner Board member and has supported our efforts to defend and restore the Second Amendment from the start. So if you're moving, let fellow Second Amendment supporter and real estate broker Scott Vinson help you sell your home and find your new home anywhere in the United States. Call him today at 619-948-2459. Tell him you heard it right here on Gun Owners Radio. That's 619-948-2459. Online, scottvinson.com. That's VINSON.
You know, every year Scott Vinson goes hunting in Alabama. He's from Alabama. And he harvests a deer or two, I think. And then we have a San Diego County Gunners. We have a meeting down at his house. He has this beautiful big backyard.
Yeah.
And he cooks up the venison, cooks up these venison burgers.
That's why you have that at his house.
That's exactly why.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good dude, which I tell that story because we have another hunter in the studio here. Gary, how are you, man? Gary Brennan from San Diego Wildlife Federation.
Doing great. How's it going?
Fantastic. We're going to talk to Gary. We're going to talk to him all about the San Diego Wildlife Federation. Dave, you heard of San Diego Wildlife Federation?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good. I thought so. So we're going to talk all about
great organization too.
Yep, absolutely. San Diego County Gunners. We're members of the San Diego Wildlife Federation, right?
San Diego County, yep.
Good. Absolutely supportive of all the stuff you got to do. We're going to get into that. So next weekend is Gun Prom.
You got to be excited.
It doesn't even feel real. I mean, this is 2 years.
I know. I keep
now.
waiting for somebody to pull the trigger and say, well, we're not going to be able to do it, but I think we're going to make it happen.
I even looked. I was like looking at the weather and going, "Wow, the weather looks really nice." Nope, don't jinx it. Like,
yeah,
just
don't
leave
do
it.
that.
You know? So we're finally going to have it.
I hear you got a couple auction items.
We have a couple auction items for the. There's going to be close to 1,000 people, Dave. 1,000 people.
That's cool.
But yeah, we have some really cool stuff. Gun Owners Radio actually donated a Smith & Wesson M&P Sport. They're also donating some signed books by Yehuda Reamer, the Pew Pew Jew, who we've had on the show. We interviewed him. Dan Woes, the Good Gun, Bad Guy series. And then, of course, Core, Gun Belt. Those are local La Mesa guys. But we for prizes, we have over 30 guns. I think we have like 35 guns this year.
Jeez.
35 guns.
Did you do that little paperwork that says that we're going to auction off a guest appearance on Gun Owners
on
Radio?
the live auction. One of the live auction
Sweet.
items is
you're
going to be a guest host for Gun Owners Radio for 2 hours.
I love that.
You get to do whatever you want to talk about. You pick the agenda. Right. You interview the people. You come on air. So we're going to get to do that.
If you pay enough, we're not showing up, and you can do your own.
That's right. That's right. We'll just sit here and heckle.
Exactly, which we've been known to do.
So we're going to do that. You're going to get to do that. But there's some cool stuff. There's a safari, an African safari. There's some trips down to like South America, Mexico, that sort of thing. Like some vacation, non-hunting trips. There is, I think we have a couple different African safari trips, which is really, really cool. But
it's like a photo safari, not a hunting safari?
No, it's a hunting safari.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can bring your camera if you want.
No, I mean, because there are two types of safaris. There's That's awesome.
Have you, Gary? You ever been to Africa on a safari?
No, I sure haven't.
I haven't either. It sounds amazing, though.
Hey, you ought to bid.
Well, maybe I will.
You got money.
I will.
You got money.
Yeah. Do I?
I think you do.
Where?
I don't know. I've looked for it.
Wherever it is.
Well, and so I guess the gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
Are there still room for people that might still want to go?
No, it's all sold out. It's all sold out. It's all sold out. I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we do this? You want to give away like 4 tickets right now?
Okay, I can give away 1.
Yeah?
Because I can't be there.
No. We can give away 4 tickets.
You gonna give away 4 tickets?
We got 4 tickets to give away. How should we give away?
What are you gonna do? Sit on the floor?
If
How about the first person?
No. We'll squeeze them in. Okay. First,
No. The first person to email, like you or San Diego County or Rich or somebody.
Rich, what's the gun owner's email?
Yeah, just go to the website and subscribe.
Okay, so go to the first 4 people
Right.
who go to gunownersradio.com and subscribe.
Oh, there you go.
You get a ticket to the Second
Gun
Amendment
Prom.
Celebration Dinner on.
And what does that include?
That includes fun,
Food,
and folks.
There you go.
How about that?
And opportunity. And opportunities.
You'll get to go to the premier Second Amendment dinner.
How about if we throw in a raffle ticket?
In the whole I don't know how we do that. They get in, they get a ticket, they get to eat dinner, they get to if you want to participate in the drawings and all that other good stuff, you bet. But the important thing is you're going to be in the room at the premier political Second Amendment dinner in the whole world.
Where's it at?
It's at the Town and Country down in Mission Valley. It's this Saturday. Doors open at 5.
Town and Country.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good too. The property does. So one of the cool auction items before we stop talking about Gun Prom is Senator Brian Jones. He's a San Diego County Gun Owners Board member. He's a big supporter of the Second Amendment. Big supporter of San Diego Wildlife Federation, right?
And hunting, yep.
And hunting. He is. If you're going to get to bid on him, and if you win, he picks you up in a limo and takes you to lunch, and you're going to get an American flag that was flown over the Capitol in Sacramento.
Really?
And you get. I know. I didn't know they flew American flags over the
Yeah.
Capitol. I thought that was.
It might be under another one, but who knows?
But you get to spend 3 hours having an awesome lunch in Brian's district with a Senator Brian Jones.
Wow.
How cool is that? How often do you get to have lunch with a senator?
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
All right. So that's you and Brian. I mean, you wouldn't be able to bring a significant other.
Yeah, no. You can. I think it's lunch for 2. It might be. Yeah, it's lunch for at least 2.
Well, that's good.
Limo picks you up.
Wow.
Yeah. How cool is that?
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So it is going to be a lot of fun. I got to tell you, everybody who's out there who's listening, who's supporting the Second Amendment Celebration Dinner, thank you. It was a really tough year last year.
Couldn't do it without him.
We had to move the date so many times, and so many people just said, that's okay. A number of people said, you know what, keep the money for the ticket. I'm going to buy a new ticket, I just can't tell you how it just feels really good that people value and support the work that we're doing. I was actually at the gym today, believe it or not.
Would you lose? Lost your watch?
Yeah, exactly. I was looking for I heard they had a deli in the back. No. I was at the gym today. Dude's looking at me from across the room and like eyeballing me. I'm like, what is going on here? Comes over and says, hey, man, are they going to take our guns? And I was wearing a San Diego County Gun Owners T-shirt.
Yeah.
And we got to talking, and I told him, I was like, yeah, you can get a CCW now. I work for this organization, and he was really excited. So it's just really, really nice that people value the work that we're doing and support us in such a grandiose way. It's going to be a good time. Subscribe at gunownersradio.com, and the first 4 people get a ticket. Everybody else if you have a ticket, we'll see you Saturday. Otherwise, join us next year because, man, it's going to be a lot of fun.
If it gets much bigger, holy moly.
Yeah, I don't really know what we're going to do.
I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, 1,000 people, it might be our capacity.
You think it's your capacity?
Yeah, it might be.
What's your stress level?
The first one was like 250 people.
Yeah.
And that was hard.
Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, and now it's, what are we, 4 times as big.
Oh my gosh!
But it's 10 times as hard.
Yeah, and 10 times as much fun.
Yeah, really, truly.
Because really, you're going to have, folks, you're going to have such a good time. And the dress is everything from cash to full-blown formal.
Yeah, you can't be overdressed.
No.
Maybe, and a tuxedo might be a little bit. You
think?
can't be overdressed.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. If you're into hunting, fishing, shooting sports, and all outdoor recreation pursuits, maybe you should be a member of the San Diego Wildlife Federation.
Hey, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and there is no guarantee that the justice system will be on your side. So make sure you are protected by the legal battle after your self-defense battle. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year, with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Listeners get a free T-shirt when they use the code GUNOWNERSRADIO. Sign up today. Go to uslawshield.com.
All right, Gary Brennan from the San Diego Wildlife Federation. Now, Gary is one of the hardest working Second Amendment guys in the state of California, and that is not hyperbole. He is a relentless warrior when it comes to your gun rights, your hunting rights, all the above, everything that touches those. Gary, you work really, really hard, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that you do.
Well, thanks, Mike.
I don't know, where do you find the time?
It's tough, especially now that it's hunting season and I'm going hunting. That's my passion, is what I wait for all year long. And, it's just been one of those things where it's been pretty much full speed ahead until October. Then it's my month. And I even missed our Federation meeting on Monday because I was in Arizona hunting.
Yeah.
I'm not Arizona, South Dakota.
Where were you hunting in South Dakota?
We went for a pheasant hunt on the Missouri, little place called Champlain, South Dakota, and we went. My brother and brother-in-law came out from the East Coast, and we all met. And Sioux Falls, drove out a couple hours and hunted pheasants for 3 days. And did extremely well, and they really took care of us.
What does that look like, dude? To do extremely well on a pheasant hunt, what does that look like?
We had limits for a day, and we limited out. All 3 of us limited out every day. So, and then the place we were at, they process everything. We brought back frozen birds and all just sealed, ready to go, and they're in the freezer.
Have you trained those birds not to come up between your legs and scare the living snot out of you yet?
No, you know what? It still happens. It's one of those things where you just
had that
never
happen?
know.
I have not.
If you haven't lived until you've walked through a gypsum corn field looking for these knuckleheads, and you stop to look, and then right between your legs.
Right between your legs.
Well, and they're
so I've heard of
cackling
pheasant under glass. I guess that'd be pheasant under. Well, anyway.
Yeah, it's
the best I could do. I just made a
pheasant
pheasant
under. Oh
hunting
my
joke.
God!
and you would think they'd be easy to hit because they fly so slow. Not so.
So tell us what's the challenge of when you're pheasant hunting?
Challenge is since you're hunting, we're using dogs to kind of do the flush and the retrieves. But dogs have a tendency to jump after the birds. So if you come down on a bird with your shotgun really quick, and
that's not good.
That bird or the dog is jumping into your field of view, and you got to wait till they get up a little bit. And then winds also in South Dakota, we were working at about 15-mile-an-hour winds, and but that bird gets up there, they're gone.
Well, I had a black lab that refused to go in the ditch. And my father-in-law said, well, if he won't go in, you go in the ditch. And I swear that dog would walk along the levee and laugh at me. I know that dog, big black lab, he's just got to go on.
Not me, man.
Because I'm down there in the ditch, man. Oh, it's, brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And next week, or what, is it tomorrow? You're leaving soon. Tuesday, you're leaving for Arizona, right?
Yeah, going to Arizona, up around the Flagstaff area on the Kaibab Plain to go after a cow elk.
Wow.
Oh, you're going after elk.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say dove.
Oh, no. Dove's November. So we still have second season is in November, but quail opens up the same day, so does pheasant. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff going on in November.
Elk. Have you ever had elk?
You're
going to his house.
I love elk.
You're going to his
tasty.
house.
It's fantastic.
I'll tell you a real quick story. I was given some elk, some cuts of elk. It was awesome. And I had them. They were frozen, so I put one in the refrigerator. Didn't quite thaw it in time. So the next one, I put it. It was like in butcher paper, Put it in the cabinet, and then for the day, figured all right, it'll definitely be thawed out by dinner time. Wife and I come home, walk around the corner, and it looked like a murder scene. there was blood all over the kitchen. I said, "Hon, hold on just a second."
Yeah, don't come in the kitchen.
She's like, "Why didn't you put it on a plate?" I'm like, "Well, where were you 8 hours ago?" I mean, that's a great idea.
It is a great idea. Highly recommended.
So, what's the challenge in elk hunting?
Well, they can ramble at about 4 to 5 miles per hour sometimes. I mean, they can move a lot
and they're smarter than you.
Yeah, their olfactory senses are tremendous. But the good part is it's a cow hunt. There's more cows than there are bulls out there, and you can't eat antlers anyway. I've been more of a meat hunter my whole life. If I get a set of antlers on it, and if I have a tag for either sex, then yeah, it's a bonus if I can get a nice set of antlers. Yeah.
So a meat hunter, you mean you don't care about hanging something on your wall? You're looking to eat something.
I don't have the room for one thing. I'm not like some of your friends you were talking about earlier. I'm sure he has a game room. It has all kinds of mounts and all the other stuff. I have 2 deer that I mounted over my entire hunting career, and I'm 63 next month.
Plus, it's cheaper to eat it than mount it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're talking, anywhere, depending on the taxidermist, you can get up to over $1,000 on a mount plus shipping and all the other stuff.
So you said you're going out alone, right?
Yeah. Well, there's going to be somebody over there that's going to be my hunter helper. I actually met her at the SHOT Show a couple years ago. Introduced her to a bunch of people. She's one of the huntress ladies out there, and fantastic hunter with a bow. Her husband just took a beautiful 6x7 bull in Arizona on the early season archery. She gets out there and does everything.
But an elk is what, 600-700 pounds?
Yeah, a cow can get up to about 500-600 pounds. Yeah.
How do you get it back?
That's my question. You're out there alone, or maybe with her. You got 500 pounds of animal there.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing 500 pounds of animal, you're probably getting 350 pounds of meat or something like that?
Give or take. Yeah, it just depends on the size. But
So
we'll quarter it out and just bring out piece at a time. And the place we're going to be hunting on is actually on a base just west of Flagstaff called Camp Navajo. And we're allowed to take our UTVs in straight to it, pick it up, put it in there, and then come straight back out.
Gotcha.
So I can actually get up pretty close. And there's plenty of roads around as well. So that's going to be better it's better for the environment. They don't want you just tearing all over the countryside, and there are rules and regulations for UTV uses or ATV uses while you're there. But they're supposed to have snow on Tuesday as well, so it might be a little bit muddy and easier to get around a UTV than my pickup truck. The last time I was in Arizona hunting, I ripped the running boards right off the truck. This is brand new, 2018.
Took it in for warranty.
Hey,
these running boards fell off.
Yeah. You could barely open the door.
All right, so you harvest the elk, and then you how long does it take to for you out there in the field to get it to a point where you can start moving it back to your vehicle?
Oh, getting into it first, because I'm not one for taking a long shot. My purpose in hunting is to get as close to the animal as possible without being seen, and then to make just a ethical, quick kill so the animal doesn't suffer and run off and die in the woods. So, if I can get up to it quick, once I take my photographs and say a prayer for the harvest and all the other stuff, then I'll get busy, and I can probably start moving it 45 minutes to an hour.
45 minutes to an hour you start, and then you broke it down into so if you're taking it out piece by piece, you just leave the pieces there, and you don't have to worry about predators or anything?
Well, there's always a chance. I mean, there's mountain lions in there. There's black bear.
You ever left some pieces and come back and there's a black bear looking at you?
No. The last 2 places I actually hunted were where I did harvest an elk. We could get to them really quick, and we weren't that far away where we had to do a 4 or 5 hour hike to get out of there. And this place has so many roads around it, we can get to the closest point and then drive pretty much right up to it.
And what's your hunting rifle for a 500-600 pound elk?
I'm going to use a 300 Win Mag. with about either 165 grain or 180 grain bullet. So
What manufacturer do you like?
Since I'm in California, I'm a Barnes guy. I have been since we started shifting over to non-lead. I reload a lot of my own rifle cartridges, but I am using factory ammunition. It's still coming out of the muzzle at about 3,000, so it's a scooting little round.
And you were talking about a lethal and ethical kill, which means basically you're saying, hey, you want to make sure that you get it on the first try.
Yeah.
And that, like you said, that it the animal doesn't suffer, the animal doesn't run away, that sort of thing.
Where is that shot go? What are you
Right
shooting
in the
for?
heart lungs area. You hit heart lungs liver. Liver is behind the diaphragm, so you get pretty close to the stomach contents, which you do not want to do with an elk. There's some videos out there that are
Yeah, I was
truly
just gonna
amazing.
say. So you're really going for the heart, if at all possible.
Oh yeah, if you can hit them in the heart, if it's close enough and you're not shooting too far, I can put it right behind the ear on a cow and it'll drop her in a heartbeat.
So I want to talk
but that's
about,
pretty fast.
I want to talk about San Diego Wildlife Federation when we after the break. But before we go to the break, you talked a little bit about. I mean, and actually, maybe we should do this after the break as well. But I was intrigued that you said, hey, you said a little prayer. You're thankful for the harvest. So after the break, you see things in movies where hunters drink this from blood or whatever. You know what I mean? There are some traditions and some rites of passage and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And I'm curious to hear when we come back if that's anything you do now. Is that something you participated in when you were young? Just hear a little bit more about that. Maybe that's all in the movies. I don't know. I'm not a hunter.
No, it's
Never
not.
hunted.
You never hunted?
Never hunted.
Because I was going to ask you if you ever did it.
Never hunted. I was telling Gary I went on this rabbit hunt, but when I was 21, that was years ago, and it was really just a walk in the desert with a shotgun on my back. That's about it. Wasn't quite a hunt, but nope, not a hunter. So anyway, but let's talk about it after the break.
Folks, our freedom of speech is just as important as our freedom of self-defense, and we are thrilled to support an American company like MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com and use the code FREEMARKET3 and get up to 66% off America's best pillow. Get a great night's sleep and enjoy the satisfaction of supporting companies fighting against cancel culture. That's mypillow.com and use the code FREEMARKET3 for up to 66% off. All right, we're back with Gary Brennan from the San Diego Wildlife Federation.
Yeah, we were talking about hunting, and we were starting to talk about some of the traditions, the rites of passage, that sort of thing. I think the first one comes to mind. Everybody's going to be surprised to hear this. Is from the movie Red Dawn. Dave,
I just was.
Did you know I was going to be able to work that in?
I knew you were, but I just was waiting.
They all went out into the woods, and one of the kids.
Did you see this movie, Gary?
Oh yeah, everybody saw it. Yeah. One of the kids that when they're hiding from the Russians. One of the kids had never hunted before, and they took him hunting. And I think what they did is they drained some of it was for his first kill, and they drained some of the blood from his spleen, from the animal's spleen, something like that. Does that sound right, or am I?
Well, there's plenty. Once you open up an animal after you shot it, there's
plenty
blood.
to drink.
There's plenty to drink.
There's a lot of blood. So
okay, so
unfortunately,
talk about that. Was there a a tradition, a rite of passage, or something that you went through when you first started hunting, or?
Oh yeah, we got blood war paint basically put on our face, and I know my brother just had a youngster out for his first deer hunt back in Pennsylvania, and they got one, and they marked his face a couple times on his nose and his forehead, and that was his rite of passage.
Thank goodness he didn't make him drink it.
Yeah, well, it's not like Dances with Wolves where they're just munching on a fresh liver, which some people might be into that, but not I.
It's not. I think it's important. I don't think we have these rites of passage anymore. These traditions, this symbolism, and I think it's to our detriment. There's an organization. I'll tell you real quick. There's an organization called Boys to Men, and what they do is they get trained volunteers to work with troubled youth and try to turn them around. And they say, hey, these are angry young boys who don't have a strong male figure in their life, and they're causing all the problems in schools. And we get a hold of them and we turn them around. And one of the ways they do that is they take them like camping, and they have to accomplish certain things, that sort of thing. Sounds a lot like Boy Scouts, actually, when I was a Boy Scout. But he said, the founder, great guy, said, we just don't have these rites of passage anymore, and it gives people a sense of accomplishment. It gives life meaning. It gives life meaning.
Sure.
And if this isn't the rite of passage for you, if you're like, I don't know if I want to take my kid hunting, fine. But this is definitely something that I think is very valuable for a lot of people. I don't know. Am I reading too much into it, Gary?
Like gnawing on a spleen?
Wow.
Not the spleen. Yeah, the spleen's not an edible part, but
Not the
but
spleen,
it's one of those
Dave,
things
for
where
God's sake.
There's, the heart and liver usually are harvested because people eat heart and liver as well. The organ meats, and in fact, that's what a carnivore or a predator is going to go after first thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But
Gourmet.
yeah, even if you missed your shot, they used to cut the back of your shirt off, just take the tail off or you notch it or something like that. So we had quite a few people walking around with notched tails on their shirts growing up back.
You got to
in
go
Maryland.
hunting.
So,
That's all there is to it.
But-
You have got to.
It'd be interesting, I guess.
so-
So let's talk about San Diego Wildlife Federation. It's an organization that's been around for years. They've done a lot of good work.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, what does the San Diego Wildlife Federation do?
So instead of having each individual club and organization out there trying to get things done in Sacramento and all that other stuff, San Diego County Wildlife Federation was formed as basically a conglomerate where these groups can come together under a single banner and then go and talk to whether it be the congressional delegates at federal level or up here in Sacramento.
You have a lobbyist?
Yeah, we do have a lobbyist, actually.
Right.
Bill Gaines is a great guy. He's well known throughout the fish and game community up there. He doesn't only work with us, but, he's... God,
You have to have a lobbyist. If you don't have a lobbyist, you're lost. You'll never get nothing done.
sort of have two because we still have Roy Griffith with the California Rifle and Pistol Association. They're also members of the San Diego County Wildlife Federation, and so they have their own lobbyists up there. And we've actually got some good things going. We got 2 free hunting days set up for the upcoming year by 2023. I guess it was signed by the governor last week. So.
And what's the main focus when you guys are lobbying or talking to elected officials? What's your main area that what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, what we want to do is we want to have access to public lands, okay? And with the way things are going right now, this 30 by 30 or program where they want to protect 30% of the lands and waters of California by 2030. Without saying what protection is, and we got our ear to the stone on that one or to the rail, but it's things like that. We actually had an area up in Ramona. It's called Cañada de San Vicente. It was in the pipeline to become an ecological reserve, and we got behind it, started pushing it, got it through the process. Through the Fish and Game Commission, and we actually started hunting there for dove about 2 years ago, and then quail and possibly a youth turkey hunt in the spring of 2022.
So would you describe your organization as are you guys conservationists?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, any hunter is a conservationist. The money that they put into their tags, their license fees, the money that, all these organizations cost something to be, even like San Diego County gun owners, right? So, everybody throws money here and there, but a lot of that money goes back into habitat, which is what we're about. Without a good habitat, you're not going to have a healthy animal population.
You'll have nothing to hunt.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people get that, Dave. We tried to years ago, before San Diego County gun owners, when I was doing volunteer work for the NRA, we tried to get an NRA booth at Earth Day. they wouldn't go for it at all. And I'm going, wait a minute, gun owners, hunters, and everything, and they just, I was just trying to put my finger in some people's eyes. You know what I mean? I thought,
and
hey, an
known to do
NRA,
that.
I know. I thought an NRA booth at Earth Day, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
But it's legit. Truly, I don't think there's no bigger group of conservationists than American hunters.
But see, and that's the job. That's probably your bigger job, is squelching all these rumors, these negative rumors, not unlike, show I do at noon, San Diego Off-Road Coalition, which does exactly the same thing you do.
Sure.
Because we're fighting side by side with you to keep the land open for our going off road, and you're doing the same thing. But people have a myth about you guys. Yeah, you just shoot them and leave them, and you don't, and then go shoot another one and you're not a conservationist, which is the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
How does the public help you? Because you guys can't do it alone.
Well, if you look at national average on people that are either pro-hunting or anti-hunting, about 80% of the United States is pro-hunting as long as the game is not wasted.
That high of a number?
Yeah, it's actually that high of a number. There's a huge movement about going natural, so we have people that were vegans that decided, hey, we need to get a little bit more protein in us, but they don't want to buy it from the store. So now they're going and said, we'll do it ourselves. We'll become hunters. So numbers are increasing. Women in hunting is really increasing, which pulls the kids in quicker.
Sure.
So while the hardest part is to keep people hunting, and that tends to be a problem. There's a program that's called R3. And it's for recruitment, reactivation, and retention. Mm-hmm. And basically, there is actually a person in Department of Fish and Wildlife. It's their sole job is to manage this program, and so we're trying to get people back into the field. I mean, I've done it. I've had 2-3 new people out just this year. One was a reactivation, my brother-in-law, and then a couple of people that I've hunted with down at El Centro for dove this on the 1st of September. So, just trying to get people out and get them interested in it again and just getting outside. The whole thing about going to South Dakota and Arizona, and I've been to Texas and Colorado and New Mexico to hunt because they're drivable distances. And sometimes they're flyable distances, but getting in there and just seeing the country and meeting the people and getting out of California for a little bit. And not that California is too bad, but we have ways to go to get it back to where it should be. And just the politeness of the folks that you meet in South Dakota, man, I'd move there in a heartbeat if I could drag my wife there. I'd be kicking and screaming because it gets too cold. So.
Can you join San Diego Wildlife Foundation without being a hunter?
We actually have fishing organizations. Wayne Cotto from CCA.
Yeah, I love Wayne.
And they're members of the federation.
Because I know a lot of people that believe in what you're doing, but maybe they're not able to hunt, or maybe they can't, take the time off or what have you, but they believe in what you're doing.
Sure.
And I just want to make sure that people that would like to support your group can.
Well, we can by just joining one of the groups that's in the federation. And we have a website. There's probably 13, 14 different clubs and groups in the, being a member of the San Diego
there's a volunteer
County
box
gun
probably.
Owners. Well, we don't necessarily. Our whole idea is just we get together once a month and we put the information out to the clubs, and it's out to the clubs to get it out to their membership.
Okay.
And, like I say, even Seth, when he comes to our meetings, he's supposed to come back and report what we're talking about, and we send out minutes a little bit later.
Seth's one of our members he's our representative. He goes to the San Diego Wildlife Federation meetings, which is really, really cool. It's another way to be involved. So real quick, why is the world a better place because of hunting? If someone said, hey, why do we even need hunting? Why don't we just get rid of hunting?
Okay, if you want to see wildlife, thank a hunter. All right. If it weren't for the hunting communities that are out there and the big organizations like California Waterfowl or Ducks Unlimited for the duck side and the waterfowl side, or Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation or California Deer Association, without those people involved in putting money into the habitat, there would be no habitat, no animals. Wild turkeys, white-tailed deer, Safari Club International, San Diego chapter, they're reintroducing Sonoran pronghorn into Southern California.
Yeah, we interviewed them. That was fascinating.
And that's a huge thing there if they can get a hold of it and just be there. So without hunting, there's a lot of other people that say, yeah, we'd be better off without hunters, but they don't put the money into conservation that hunters do.
And
or
not only
anglers.
that,
Exactly right.
I'll throw anglers in there too.
And not only that, you're going to have animals in your backyard.
Oh yeah, well, predators, and that's
Predators.
one of the problems that they're having right now.
Sure.
Because bear population is outrageous.
I got coyotes running up and down my street up in Alpine.
Sure.
So you guys ought to do a hunting season on coyotes.
Well, they said there's 40,000 black bear in California right now, and 2 years ago there was only about 20.
Yeah.
Non-fungible tokens. Contrary to what you might think, they are not mushroom-resistant coins.
Okay. Well, hey, did you know law-abiding gun shops and manufacturers had their credit card processing shut down because their vendors think that guns are inappropriate? Well, shutting down businesses that support your constitutional right to self-defense is wrong, which is why we are so excited to have 365 Glacier Payment as a 10-ring partner. 365 Glacier Payment specializes in companies in the firearm industry. If you have a business that accepts credit cards, give them a call today so you can enjoy the peace of mind that your accounts won't be shut down and also enjoy the best rates. Visit their website at 365glacierpayment.com. Ask for a free account review, and if they can't beat your credit card processing rates, they'll pay you $100. Woo, that's
All right, our next guest, Chris Cheng. He is the History Channel's Top Shot Season 4 winner. We've had him on here before. You've probably seen him on the cover of Recoil magazine. Great guy up in the Bay Area, very involved in the fight to preserve and restore our Second Amendment rights. Chris, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on today.
You bet. Thanks for being on. Okay, so my understanding is a couple things. Number one, you're coming to Gun Prom on Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's my first Gun Prom. I've heard a lot about it over the years, and so I'm going to be there in the flesh and excited to see you guys and have a great time celebrating and promoting our Second Amendment rights.
It'll be really good to see you. Thank you so much for making the trip. I'm really excited to have you see what we've built here in San Diego and be a part of the celebration. So, what is a non-fungible token? Tell us what that is, because I know we're going to talk about. I think we're going to. Are we giving one away? Are we auctioning one off at Gun Prom or something like that? But let's talk about what it is.
Yeah.
Treat me like I'm 5
Well,
years old. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah, and so, let me explain that. I've been following this whole NFT craze over the past year, and I was very skeptical for the first 3 months. I was also very confused around what is an NFT, what in the world are people paying for, why is this valuable, what is really going on. So I mentioned all this to say that if this is the first time that you've heard of an NFT or non-fungible token, and if this is all confusing, don't worry, but stick with it. I promise it's going to be interesting, and it's going to make a huge difference in the gun community and the Second Amendment advocate world. So when you hear the letters NFT, the non-fungible token piece, don't worry about that as much as just think of this as a digital collectible. And these digital collectibles can come in the form of a JPEG, a video file, a music file, art, photography. Now, what's going on here is these NFTs, they live on something called the blockchain. It is related to cryptocurrency, but it's different. These NFTs are files, right? Again, it could be that picture, a video. It's a file that lives on the blockchain. And what's unique about this blockchain is it's a digital public ledger that is a source of truth that authenticates where these digital files come from. So, right, it's these NFTs, they're not files or photos that live on my laptop or on a cell phone. They live on the public internet, on these blockchains where everybody can see what is going on. So the analogy that has been helpful for me when thinking about NFTs is to think about the analog versions of this, like in real life. Right, so the two applications I want to talk about today are digital art collecting and digital card collecting. So let's talk about card collecting in real life. So when I was younger, I collected baseball cards. there was Topps, Fleer, Score, Upper Deck, right? You had these 4 different baseball card brands, and you had all the major league teams, you had all the players, right? And anybody who's collected anything will understand that some cards are worth more than others based on the player's performance or the team's performance, or sometimes if the player has autographed the card, that can increase the value of that tangible card. Now, in the card collecting world, the authentication mechanism here is the card company that has the licensing rights, right, to sell cards on behalf of the San Diego Padres, the Anaheim Angels, right, the Giants, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you come over into this digital world, right, there are basically digital collector's cards that are being authenticated on this blockchain. Again, it's a digital public ledger where you have this source of truth where NFTs that are created on the blockchain are authenticated by the NBA, for example. So a huge and successful NFT marketplace that has cropped up is by the NBA, and it's called NBA Top Shot. .com, and it has no relation to the Top Shot that was on the History Channel.
Right.
And I have no relation or connection to NBA Top Shot. But if you go to NBATopShot.com, what you're going to see is a bunch of video moments of NBA greatest hits from Steph Curry, from LeBron James, and I don't even care about basketball, to be really honest, but in order for me to better understand this whole NFT market and this concept of collecting digital cards, you'll see all these NBA moments that people can purchase, and they're rare, right? So they only create 40,000 copies, right, of a LeBron James slam dunk, for example. And there is this whole economy and ecosystem and community and culture. People who are talking about these NBA moments, they're rising and falling in value. There's a supply and demand. It's really, really fascinating. And so I'll stop there for a moment because I know that's a lot that we've just sort of dove right into with, like, what are NFTs and why are they valuable and why are they any different than, let's say, files that live on your computer versus on this blockchain. I'll stop right there for a moment and take any questions that you guys might have.
Well, I think it sounds like each file has, like, it has to have some kind of, it's somehow serialized, like it's not, so it's unique. Correct. Like if someone sends you a picture, and I send that picture to someone, if I take a picture of a flower and then I send it to Gary and Gary sends it to Dave and Dave sends it to Rich, then you basically have 4 different files. It's sitting on your computer. It's the exact same picture. But it sounds like this has some kind of serial number, the same way that Bitcoin exists, where each Bitcoin is a unique digital file. So it can't really be, maybe you could take a picture of it, but really that file is unique from any other file. So if you have some kind
Correct.
If you have some kind of file, some kind of non-fungible, if you have some kind of token, maybe it's a picture of you, Chris, and it's it's unique. If it's a picture of you doing something or whatever, but it's a unique serialized file, and if I have it, I'm the only person in the world that has it. It's not like you can take that file and duplicate it, and if I send that file, I can't send that file to Gary and have him send it to Dave send it to Rich, and boom. So the value is in that it is unique. Am I on the right track?
You're absolutely 100% on the right track and hitting all the nails on all the heads. And so here's another analogy that has helped me wrap my head around this. What's the difference between sort of the digital versus analog, but also where there's some similarities between the digital and analog collectors world. So I think about the Mona Lisa. Right, there's only one physical copy of the Mona Lisa that's authenticated by a museum and other art curators. Now, there's millions of people every year that go see the Mona Lisa, and they take a picture on their phone or they record video of the Mona Lisa on their phone.
But the picture of the Mona Lisa is not the Mona Lisa.
Right, exactly right. So it's a duplicate, but it's not like authenticated by the museum or by an art authority, right? If I took a picture of the Mona Lisa, or let's say I just Google search, right, image search a Mona Lisa, and I print a copy out on my laser printer, no one's going to pay me anything for that.
I'd pay.
Right?
If you signed it, I'd pay it. I'd be like, pay.
Yeah, maybe you pay me a beer or a buck, kind of thing.
So Chris,
right,
we have 1 minute here. So talk about what exactly what's the RECOIL auction all about? Tell us a little bit. Like, how does someone obtain a non-fungible token?
Yeah, so we are holding the first of its kind digital art auction. It's me and Recoil Magazine. We're partnering up and selling 10 rare copies of this digital cover art. The website is nft.recoil. The auction starts on October 19th. It's going to be very exciting. We've also paired up different prizes.
PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help for a VA loan? Well, if you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or primeres.com/Alpine.
All right, so we're talking with Chris Cheng. We're talking about non-fungible tokens. I think you did a really good job, Chris, of explaining exactly what it is. And let's recap a little bit. So it sounds like you're partnering with RECOIL. RECOIL is our favorite gun magazine. Gary, do you get RECOIL?
No, I don't.
Have you checked it out?
No, I haven't.
RECOIL is very, very cool. We got to get you a RECOIL subscription. They have RECOIL, and then they have a Carry magazine. But the one I think you'd be really interested in is they have Carnivore, and it's all about hunting and then preparing and then eating. I think you'd really like it. I'm gonna see if I can get you. I'll talk to you after the show. Let's see if we can get you subscription, a hookup there.
Sweet.
Anyway, Chris, so you're partnering with RECOIL. Awesome magazine. I love those guys. And you guys are doing an auction. Tell us about the auction. I know you just touched on it, but tell us again. Tell us about the auction.
Yeah. So starting on October 19th at the following website, which is nft.recoilweb.com, we're going to be auctioning off 10 rare copies of the RECOIL issue 56 cover art, which had me on the cover. It was very controversial, but it stimulated a ton of conversation about the Second Amendment. And the whole thing that this cover art represents is the notion that the Second Amendment is for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, whether you're a woman, whether you are Asian, or any other whatever you may be, that the Second Amendment is for you. And that's the message that this cover art represents. And so in this auction, right, that we're selling digital art copies that are authenticated by me and by RECOIL, it's not just the NFT that is up for auction. We package these other prizes that go along with the NFT. So the top 5 bidders in the auction, they're also going to win an in-person fun shoot with me and the RECOIL staff. Also included in the prize packages are digital and physical subscriptions of RECOIL magazine. So if you haven't seen RECOIL or don't have a subscription, come on over and bid on this NFT auction. You can win a RECOIL, both physical and digital subscription, RECOIL swag as well. And then finally, a portion of the auction proceeds are going to be donated to Second Amendment organizations, the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Pink Pistols / Operation Blazing Sword, which is an LGBT pro-gun organization, and then APA-GOA, which is Asian Pacific American Gun Owners Association. I'm on the founding board of APA-GOA, and I'm on the board of the Pink Pistols. And so these are 3 of my favorite Second Amendment organizations that are doing fantastic work. And so what the point here with this auction is that the money that we raise is going to come right back into the Second Amendment community. And back to why is this auction important? This is about the cover art, right? We're auctioning off these digital art NFTs And what is art? Right? Let's sort of just hang on this question for a second of what is art. Art can come in many forms, right? Photography, video, music, the spoken word. In this case, the cover art, it provoked conversation about the gun community, about gun ownership, about the Second Amendment. And that's a huge benefit and very exciting opportunity for those of us in the Second Amendment community to have this new vehicle, right? These NFTs, these digital collectibles. Not only could these NFTs, increase in value over time, and which I hope they do, but they're a talk piece, right? They're a way for us to relate to each other, to open up a door about the Second Amendment with maybe somebody who maybe they're into NFTs or this concept of digital art or photography, but maybe they aren't into the Second Amendment. But this could be an opportunity, right, to open up those conversations and for us to spread these messages of liberty and freedom for all.
That is very cool. I think it's really cool that it's so cutting edge. I honestly, I think there's probably a lot of people out there that don't really fully understand it yet. But I know we have a much better understanding of it, and it feels like this is going to be. It feels like this is going to be normal, Dave. It feels like in like 2-3 years or whatever, like this is just going to be kind of a given. It just feels like that. You guys seen that commercial of the old clip? I think it's like Good Morning America from like 1993, and they're like, "Hey Bob, what does www mean?" or something like that. Yeah. Where like you hadn't heard of the internet, So that's what this feels like right now.
So
I feel
so Chris, will I be able to get a Hunter Biden print?
Well, so on the notion of this whole digital collectible NFT concept is absolutely going to become ubiquitous in a few years. And this NFT, the technology behind it, ultimately, we're not going to be talking about NFTs as much as digital collectibles, right? Whether it's collector cards or art or NFT firearms is a whole other topic which we won't get into today because we don't have time. But the idea is this is literally we're on the front end of this very exciting digital collectible ecosystem and digital collectible economy. And so one thing that I'm doing very special for Gun Prom attendees this Saturday is I'm participating in an auction where you're going to be able to bid on a physical memorabilia where it's a signed copy of RECOIL issue 56 with me on the cover and my actual pen signature on the magazine. There's also the infamous shirt that I'm wearing on that cover that's also autographed by me. It's in this great light box. And so if you win this auction, right, at Gun Prom on Saturday, I'm going to open up a bonus multiplier for the NFT auction, where if you become one of the top 5 bidders in the NFT auction and you also win this physical silent auction items this Saturday, you'll get an extra ticket to that in-person fun shoot where we're going to be shooting all sorts of fun guns. Don't be surprised if a machine gun or two, shows up at this fun shoot. So again, if you win that silent auction prize of the RECOIL magazine cover and the T-shirt that's autographed by me, and you are a top 5 bidder in the NFT auction, then you get an extra bonus in-person ticket to bring a guest to come shoot a bunch of guns. We're going to grill a bunch of food, have a bunch of great drinks, and it's going to be an amazing, memorable experience, and you're going to become a part of history, right? That's the most exciting part of me is you're going to be one of 10 people, right, who are going to be NFT owners of the first ever Second Amendment or gun community-related NFT digital collectible cover art piece. I'm really excited. Website one more time is nft.recoilweb.com. And then for anybody who's going to Gun Prom this Saturday, you'll see my auction item on the silent auction table.
Hey, Chris, Gary Brennan from San Diego Wildlife Federation had a question.
Hey, Chris.
Absolutely.
How is this digital media stored? Is it? Do you download it on your computer that can crash and lose it forever, or is it in some kind of digital vault somewhere, or how do you tell us about that?
So the short answer is both options that you just noted are available. So these NFTs, right, these digital files, they can be stored on these on the blockchain, right? And there's a digital wallet that's highly encrypted, and there's a password, right, just for your wallet. So you can store your cryptocurrency, you can store your NFTs, you can store other blockchain items, in your digital wallet, or you can download it into an offline wallet in the form of, it could be a USB drive, a mobile phone, where the NFT actually lives on your wallet. It's basically a way of making it a little more secure. And the problem is, right, let's say you have your NFT stored, encrypted on your phone. Well, yeah, if you lose your phone, then you've lost that NFT forever.
Right.
So yeah, there's some pros and cons, right? Storing your digital items either on the internet, on this blockchain, or taking it offline. And some people, they store their NFTs on a mobile device, and then they put that mobile device in a security lockbox at a bank, or in their gun safe, somewhere secure where it can't get stolen. But it's a super exciting concept, and I hope anybody that has ever collected art or baseball cards or coins or really collected anything, digital art collecting is one of the next big things, and digital collector's cards is going to be, I think, a huge thing also for the firearms community. So keep an eye on this space.
Chris, we got to take a break.
Thank you for being with us, Chris.
Yeah.
This is awesome, and we can't wait to
Absolutely.
see you at
we'll see
Gun
you
Prom.
Saturday.
Do you have your CCW yet? We're going to be talking about getting your concealed carry weapons permit in Southern California and some of the differences throughout the different counties next.
But first, we are so proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates. They offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors and provide rock-bottom prices on the best selection of gear and accessories. Join them today. Members get great prices and free shipping. Learn more about the National Concealed Carry Association.com. So, hey, you were at Bulls. How'd that go?
It was cool. The Bulls Only Rodeo.
Did you get a lot of people sign up?
Yeah, we got a lot of people that signed up, a lot of interest. It was out in Lakeside. It was very, very cool. If you go on our Facebook page, you'll Gary and I were just talking about a really cool video with my new friend MJ. MJ is, I don't know how old that kid was.
Like 12 or 13 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't even know if he was that
pretty
old.
young.
Yeah, fourth or fifth grade, something like that. And he was going, we had a little pen in the shape of a revolver, and he was going over all the parts, and I was like, I got to get this kid on camera. So I talked to the mom. She's like, "Yep, go for it." So I gave him a little quiz, and that little guy, he and I are friends now.
Yeah.
We're buds. We went. They had a booth where they talked about mulch. They had samples of mulch, and I'm like, "All right, I got to introduce MJ to mulch." And so they had worms in the mulch and everything. He thought that was fascinating. We went and looked at some leather works, and we went and looked at some hats, and he had a piece of pizza, and he's my new buddy. MJ, if you're out there, man, I want you to know I really enjoyed hanging out with you and meeting you and your family Friday. But the Bulls Only Rodeo was awesome.
Did you have your cowboy hat on?
Didn't have a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I did. It was fun.
Brendan did.
I love Bulls Rodeo.
We did our we started a chant. Before the rodeo in the crowd, me and Steve Roback, who's on the water board out in East County, started our "Let's Go Brandon" chant.
That's what that was.
We were supportive of Brandon.
Gotcha.
Wanted to do our "Let's Go Brandon" chant. Anyway, all right, let's talk about CCWs. Gary, do you have your CCW?
Yeah, I do.
Do you, here in California?
Yeah, I got it a couple months ago. So.
Nice. How was the process?
Long and arduous, but it's worth it in some situations where hopefully I'll never be in. But I was a state park ranger for 10 years, and I did it then, but that was all part of the badge. And when I came back down here, it's like I don't want to carry anymore. But then more and more I thought about it, the more and more I wanted to carry again. So it took me just about, I guess, about 16, 17 months, I guess.
Yeah.
You would think with your background, it would be pretty easy.
It's same background for everybody.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's probably made him easier to write his good cause, but everybody's in the same line.
Yeah.
No one gets to skip the line. Is that Is that kind of?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a firearms instructor downtown at a maritime training academy.
And
I mean,
you're still going to get in line.
I still got in line.
But good news, this is really San Diego County Gun Owners. This is our biggest victory, is getting the sheriff to issue CCWs. We're very proud of how we did it and that we did it. So we're very, very happy that we got it done. But the way that we did it, putting political pressure on the sheriff and making it happen, we're very proud of. Some good news, Gary. We've been talking to licensing. Super good relationship between San Diego County Gun Owners and the Sheriff's Department, specifically licensing. They've been doing a great job. They're very responsive. They're very interested in improving the process. So they opened up a new day on Mondays. They're filling in appointments for initial CCWs. So that's gonna shorten the line. And the other cool thing is they are starting to, and I don't know if they do this on 100%. I don't think they do it on 100% of the renewals yet. But the plan is to do it on 100% of the renewals. You don't even have to go in.
That'd be great.
Yeah, you take your class, you submit all the paperwork, they do what they need to do,
right,
and then they just mail you your renewed CCW.
Wow.
Well, that's a good part about the Permitium. You can just upload the new data in there because they're probably going to ask you for, proof of residency and all the other stuff again, and you just scan it and upload it into Permitium, and it's good to go. So.
And then why even come in?
Yeah.
So
to deliver your check.
Yeah. And then that's going to make things even quicker. So an 18-month wait period is unacceptable. They think it's unacceptable. And we're in communication with them. They're making improvements. It's a very sincere effort to make this process good for the end user, and I'm really, really proud and happy about that. What I wanted to do, though, so that's good news for San Diegans. Yay!
Yeah, for sure.
What I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the differences, because we're real familiar with how Orange County, San Diego County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino County issues, and then we're going to touch a little bit on L.A.
L.A. is good.
Well, right? It's kind of, isn't that neat?
It's a month turnaround from what I hear.
Well, that's what I'm hearing too. I'm hearing different things. We'll get to L.A.
Yeah.
But the first one to really crack the case, Gary, was Orange County. 6, 7, 8 years ago. They were the first ones to really jump in and say, hey, we're going to have a world-class CCW experience. So they put together processes and procedures. I think the turnaround time in Orange is less than 2 months typically.
What's the renew on that in Orange?
I think it's less than a month. I think it's weeks.
No, I'm talking about the renewal. How often do you have to renew?
2 years.
Yeah, because I've seen some of them that are actually in other states that are going 3 or 4 years, which takes all those renewals out of the process. And
I would love to change it. It's a state
great.
law. It's state law, though. That would that would have to be changed. But Orange County put together. They worked with Permitium. They worked with their licensing. They said, hey, look, this is what we mean by good cause. This is what the information we're looking for. So it wasn't this. Ridiculous, guess goose hunt. You could actually, okay, this is the information you need. This is what counts for good cause. Great. This is what we need to prove that you're a resident. They really put out the process and procedure. In the meantime, Riverside and San Bernardino were issuing, but a little bit differently. And specifically, Riverside was actually really, really backed up. Never quite understood under Sheriff Stan Sneff. Never understood what the holdup was. He was supportive in word when it came to CCWs, but in deed, he just couldn't quite get the job done. Chad Bianco, the new sheriff, has turned that around. They've issued something like 10,000 in 2 years, which is amazing.
Yes.
And Riverside is really pretty much what it's like Orange County, but maybe a few less sentences in your good cause. It's pretty much the same process, though. You go through the same background check. You go through the same verification that you live in Riverside, but maybe maybe 6 or 7 sentences rather than 12 or 13 in your good cause. I don't know, something like that. The interesting thing, though, is San Bernardino is really easy as long as you stay in their parameters. So it's actually easier than Orange or Riverside or San Diego, which all three of those are almost identical. They kind of followed each other. But San Bernardino has actually been issuing for a while. It's easier. You only need like 3 or 4 sentences saying, hey, I want to defend myself when I'm outside of the home.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you were to submit a good cause, that met the standards of San Diego, and you said, hey, here's why I'm in fear for my life. Here's what I do for a living. I might be attacked because I have these valuable, access to this valuable information or these valuable items or whatever. If you write those 12 or 13 sentences that will, they'll knock it out of the park here in San Diego. They'll say, oh, this is the best we've seen all day. Great, good cause, fantastic. If you submit that in San Bernardino, they'll give you all kinds of a hard time. We need this and your employer and blah, blah, blah. But if you just go in to San Bernardino with a good cause of saying, hey, I want to defend myself when I'm outside of the home. I'm, whatever. I go hiking and walking and jogging, and I sure need to protect myself when I'm outside of the home. If your good cause is 3 or 4 sentences along those lines in San Bernardino, you're good to go. Isn't that weird?
No, it's beautiful, really.
It's beautiful, right?
We'd love
it's
to
beautiful.
see it down here,
But if you're, I guess what I'm
there.
saying, and I'm kind of paraphrasing everybody, but I guess what I'm saying is, if you're too intricate and you're too involved in San Bernardino, you're actually throwing a wrench in the monkey works there.
KISS method, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Keep it simple, stupid. But if you, and then San Diego, like I just illustrated, you really got to say, hey, this is what I do. This is why I fear for my life. This is the kind of stuff I have, and you don't have to be in, dire fear of your life every single day. It just has to be a realistic, okay, well, here's what I do for a hobby or for work or lifestyle. And this is the type of person that might attack me for that reason. It has to be a worst case scenario. It doesn't have to be, imminent danger that's going to definitely happen to you tomorrow. But if you want more information, I was just at the gym today, and a guy saw my shirt. I was wearing a San Diego County Gun Owner shirt, wanted CCW information. Wherever you are, San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange, or San Diego, go to the website, SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com, OrangeCountyGunOwners.com, RiversideCountyGunOwners.com, or SanBernardinoCountyGunOwners.com. Watch the video. We'll help you through the whole process. But I thought it was real interesting to just kind of touch on some of the similarities and differences between the 4 counties. We're skipping that intro.
So did you know John Dillon is the attorney on landmark Second Amendment cases? John is working on the Miller versus Buntis case and the Jones versus Buntis case. And if you have legal matters that involve firearms, that you need to call attorney John Dillon, especially if you have questions on red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant. So you can trust our firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Give him a call, 760-642-7150, or just visit his website at DillonLawGP.com.
Okay, so we're talking with Gary Brennan. We were talking a little bit about the San Diego Wildlife Federation. We were talking about hunting, and we were having a really good conversation before we got interrupted by all these interviews. No. But I wanted to circle back,
Sure,
and talk about hunting. So we have for example, San Diego County Gun Owners. We have 2,900 members and growing. That's a lot of gun owners. I would say that few of them, a very small percentage of them, hunt. I don't hunt. I've never hunted. Never been.
right.
I really, honestly, most of them are just kind of your, Joe Lunchbox and Jane Lunchbox, everyday gun owners. Most of them are more CCW or just rights oriented.
Sure.
But I do get questions a lot from people, kind of scratching their head going, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to try hunting. If you're that person, you have your 9-to-5 job, you've never hunted before, you're 30, 40, 50 years old, where do you even start? Like, if you'd love to jump in and just give it a try, where do you even start?
Yeah, well, you can't afford it. No, just kidding. No, the cost is a big factor when it comes to hunting because it's specialized equipment, rifles and shotguns and all that other stuff. But bottom line is you have to start by getting California hunter education out of the way.
And what is that? What is California Hunter Education?
So California Hunter Education was started in like 1956, and actually hunter education started by the NRA back in 56. And what was happening in 56, a lot of people were coming back from Vietnam and all the other stuff, and Korea back then.
Korea,
yeah. And so there were a lot of firearms accidents, incidents in the woods, and so we said, hey, they needed to get together, started this program of just basic hunter education. And it took off, and now you can take hunter education in California, and it's reciprocity in all 50 states, Canada, Mexico, and a few other countries, especially in Africa, where you don't have to go down there and take their own course. It requires about 10 hours of your time. So it is not one of those things where you're just going to go in there, look at something online for a couple minutes and take a test. You actually have to go through the course. Now, there was a lot of in-person training. I've been teaching hunter education. I started at Buck Knives back in the 90s. Yeah. And so I've taught over 3,000 students, I guess, and since I've been an instructor. And when COVID hit, everything went online. So there was an online program. It required a follow-up field day portion with an instructor, just so we know that you know how to carry the gun, and it was an in-person test. Right now, everything's online.
Everything's online. So the first step, if you think to yourself, hey, I might want to hunt something, and it doesn't matter what you're hunting. You're hunting birds, you're hunting mammals, whatever you're hunting, right? First step, what do you do? Just do it like a Google search and find a hunter education course online for California?
Yeah, you can just go to California.
It's California specific. It's not
California
federal.
DFW or California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and just / hunter education, and you'll get to their page. It'll show up on top, or one of the courses that you can take online will show up. It just depends who paid the most for the top of the line Google search or whatever. But you go in there and you just sign up. Some of the courses are free. Some of them cost about $20-$30, but and it's do it on your own time. You can log out when you got to go take care of the kids, or if you're doing kids. Personally, I think a child should be with an instructor, but we cannot meet right now. Yeah, and we're trying to get that open back up as they open things back up. But
okay, so now I went online. I got paid my whatever you said, $30 or whatever it
give
is.
Or take.
Yeah, give or take. I got my card. Now what? Like, how do I know? You know, maybe I have an idea what I want to hunt. How do I know where? How do I know how? You know, what's the next step?
Right. Well, once again, that's where those local groups we have a website, San Diego County Wildlife Federation.org, and our member organizations are on there, so you can look at those, get involved, because you may not want to be a duck hunter. You may not want to be a predator guy. You know, there's so many different species out there to hunt in California. You don't have to go a lot of places.
But typically you need some kind of additional, they call them tags typically,
right.
But some kind of license saying,
sure.
Hey, this is the type of species you can hunt.
Right. Well, so you have to do your homework. All that information is available online on the Fish and Wildlife website. You purchase your license. Right now, the license goes from, I believe, July 1st to June 30th, and in the calendar year. And you can research what you want to hunt, where you want to hunt it, and just go. I mean, it takes a lot more than I could probably take a whole segment
right. No, I know.
Just explaining that.
But just in general, you got to find out, hey, you know, there's a season.
The best thing is to find somebody that'll help mentor you.
And most hunters I've found, Dave, most hunters they're happy they're like, oh, you want to learn? Let's do it.
Oh, absolutely, because there's nobody wants to go hunting by themselves.
Yeah, especially bird hunting right now, because you can do that in a group, and you don't have to worry about it. But
especially if the dog makes you walk in the ditch.
You know, a few years ago in our my wife and I live right along the San Diego River, very, very close, like real close.
Yeah, you were real close.
And so we were having a coyote issue. And this big, ugly, mean coyote was coming right up to the doors and right up to the trash cans. I mean, he was really, really
hungry,
bold. And I'm going, well, I got to be able to figure this out, right? So I started doing research. I found out, okay, I live right in the middle of a city. So I can't discharge a firearm. You obviously can't go hunting.
Right.
But I found out that at the time, at least, and I don't know, hopefully I didn't read this incorrectly. This is years ago. Basically, the coyotes were considered pests.
They still are.
They still are. And there's not like a limit. I don't even think there's a season.
No, there's no season. You can hunt coyotes
Year-round.
as long as you have a state hunting license, which requires that hunter education.
Right.
You can hunt them year round.
So I was going to get my hunter's license and registration and everything, and then I thought, well, hell, I got a bow.
I was just going to say.
So I thought, I'm going to take care of this problem. And I'm talking to a buddy of mine who it was actually a former client back when I was in banking. He's a really good dude. He's really into hunting. And he goes, I don't know. He said, your luck, you're gonna wing that
make
thing.
that guy
and
so
you're gonna,
mad.
Well, and then there's going to be this dog running through the neighborhood, and the HOA is
With
going to
your bow sticking out.
I'm chasing after him. So that problem.
Give me back my arrow.
I know. Yeah, give me back my arrow.
You took it.
That problem didn't get solved.
Well, one of the things the Federation pushed last year, along with a lot of other organizations, is there was on the books of 2 free days of hunting. So you didn't need to have. You could be a new hunter, not have a license, and you get 2 days a year to hunt. Now, they haven't been designated what days are going to be. I would assume that once they have until 2023 because the governor just signed it last week as well. And so you have probably a dove hunt and maybe a spring turkey hunt. Yeah. But you have to be with a mentor.
What are the prices? Have they risen considerably or mildly or not hardly at all?
Prices for a hunting license run about $48 or more. Okay. It's probably one of the highest resident hunting licenses in the United States.
Course.
So tags are, $28 or so for a deer tag drawing. So you don't get charged you put in for the drawing, and that costs you a couple bucks. But if you get drawn, you have to pay for the tag.
Right.
A resident elk tag is ridiculous at $480, but
whoa,
yeah, it's extremely expensive.
You can almost go down to the butcher
for a resident compared to other.
You can
states.
almost go to the butcher shop and just buy yourself some elk.
Well, when it comes down to it, it's cheaper to buy, but it's not. It's cheaper to buy meat in the store, in a grocery store.
Right, that's what I just said.
But
we're going free range. We're going
yeah.
organic.
Yeah.
There's no nitrates. There's nothing. You're getting
gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
Elk is gluten-free.
Very lean.
Super lean.
Low cholesterol.
And you better know how to cook it or you'll kill it.
Yeah, if you cook it past medium, any wild game, if you cook it past medium, you might as well just toss it or nail it to the bottom of your
So we just had a
field.
question come in from a listener. What's the easiest thing to learn? What's the easiest game to start with? Is there an animal or a particular type of hunting?
Well,
birds.
Yeah, I'd probably say dove hunting because there's a lot of them, and there's 2 seasons. One starts in September. The other second season starts in November.
It'd be a pretty bad shot to miss a dove.
Well, you know what?
I can do it.
Anybody that dove hunts goes out there with a lot of ammunition because those are little rockets, and they don't. They fly where they want
They got
to.
a mind of their own.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
actually,
it takes a little bit long.
I just had it. We got like a minute and a half. Okay, Here's what I want to know. What type of firearm and caliber are you going to use? Let's start easy. If you're shooting dove, what are you using?
Shotgun with either 20 gauge or 12 gauge. So 20 gauge if you don't want to get a lot of recoil. 12 gauge, of course, is very versatile. So
how about a deer? Mule deer, Southern California mule deer.
Oh shoot, I've taken mule deer in San Diego County with muzzle loader, with rifle. Bow and arrow archery.
Minimum caliber for a mule deer in California?
I would say 243. You can go. That's a standard deer rifle throughout the United States, and that's the lowest caliber I would go. But you can actually take them with 22, 250. Personally, 30-06, 270. I want to put them down. I don't want them to get up.
And when you said when you go elk hunting, it's typically you do 300 Win Mag or maybe 7mm?
I've taken everything from a 308. 30-06, 7mm mag or 7mm 8. Anything you want the projectile to do the job when it hits it. You don't want to take a follow-on shot.
And what about a pig? You're hunting a pig. What are you using?
You know what? 300 Blackout is a great round.
There you go.
I'm serious because you can get it in a bolt action. You can use your AR platform for it, just as long as it's 10 rounds in California.
And you want that thing to go down.
Yeah. Oh, you just put it right in the ear. You're not going to waste the meat, and it's going to do the job.
And what about varmints? I don't know if there's a lot of varmint hunting in California, but if you go varmint hunting outside of California,
San Diego Varmint Callers is one of the groups that belongs to the Federation, and they get out there and they don't have contests, but they have group hunts where they'll go out and do a lot of calling. But at 22, 250, 243, 204.
So most people
small.
have a hunting rifle or something they could use in their
arsenal.
Yeah, in their arsenal. It's not that.
Don't know it.
Yeah.
Or it might be time to go shopping.
Handguns. You can use handguns for deer. I mean, anything is 22 caliber center fire or above.
All right.
That's the law.
So we live in a state where your self-defense rights are under attack. Let us be your voice to help defend and restore the Second Amendment. Help spread the word about the fight. That's 2 easy things that you can do, like subscribe to the show on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, and podcast, or whatever way you like to listen to the show. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast for me, and it helps to boost the show and put people in front of us. We appreciate it. So, hey, we got our guy, Sam the Gunman. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you guys?
Just good,
hanging in here, just having fun.
We were just talking about hunting with Gary. I forget, you've been hunting, haven't you, Sam?
I have not.
You've never been hunting.
Runs in the family, I see.
I know. I've never been hunting either. Well, if you were going to go hunting, what would you want to hunt?
Pest control, coyotes or hogs.
There you go. Man after my own heart.
We were just talking about that. All right, Stump My Nephew. Every week we get my nephew Sam the Gunman, on the air, and we ask him a question. The questions are sent in from our listeners. If you have a gun trivia question, email it to us. If we use it on the air, we will give you a hat or a shirt. If you stump my nephew, which is extremely difficult, we will give you a lifetime of training thanks to Front Sight out in Nevada. So, Gary's in the studio here. He's with San Diego Wildlife Federation. That's why we're talking about hunting. And Gary is he's going to ask the question, Sam.
Hey, Sam, so which pistol lost the contract trials to the Austrian military to the then newcomer Glock in 1983?
Oh, that's a good question.
Which pistol lost the trials to Glock for the Austrian Army's new pistol? Short answer, the Steyr GB. And Steyr was really, really upset about this because they're a very old and well-established manufacturer of high-quality firearms. They've been in business since the 1800s. And Gaston Glock made his fortune manufacturing like lawn chairs, golf club handles, shovels.
All the important stuff. We get cut off?
No, I'm still here.
Oh. All the important stuff. Okay, so Steyr. Okay, so basically the Austrian Army, which I believe is, like, good day, mate, and another
Wrong country.
Nation.
Wrong country.
My bad. The Austrian Army, they were using Steyr GBs, which was a type of
So they were
handgun.
they were using
Bailout.
using Walther P1s, I think.
They were using Walthers, and then
P38s.
and so Steyr
And
said, "Hey, we want the
their
contract."
P38s or their P1s rather, were old and falling apart, and the Austrian Army needed something new, and they wanted it to be domestic, preferably. And so the 2 finalists were the Steyr GB, which is a stainless steel gas-delayed blowback 9mm pistol, and the Glock 17, and the Glock ended up being adopted.
That's amazing. And the Glock 17. This is Gaston's first crack at a firearm. I mean, he was a Johnny-come-lately, right?
Yeah, he wasn't a firearm designer himself, but he had a great deal of experience in manufacturing with injection molding and fiber-reinforced polymer. So what he did was he combined that institutional expertise that his company had and surrounded himself with a bunch of talented engineers who were well-versed in firearms design and instructed them to take all the best principles already known and make a mechanically thoroughly conventional pistol with his relatively innovative polymer manufacturing methods, and make it simple so it would be easy to work on, easy to repair, and most of all, not break down.
So what happened with the Steyr GB? Do you know, did it go on to be a successful firearm, or what happened?
No, unfortunately, it was a very high-quality pistol, but kind of too high quality. It didn't really offer anything compelling in terms of feature set that competitors didn't, other than being really, really nice and very accurate. So it didn't get any big military contracts because it was constantly being undercut, and it didn't see a whole lot of civilian sales because it was more expensive than the competition.
I don't know why you know it. Why do you know all this? Not only did you know you nailed the question, but you also had follow-up on pieces of the question.
He always does.
The frame was 2 halves that were welded together. Its 18-shot capacity without an extended magazine ties with the H&K VP70 is the highest available in a pistol. In 1983, Steyr GB lost to Glock, and then in 1984, it was eliminated from the U.S. military trials due to reliability issues. That was a little bit more. So, Sam, awesome job. Thank you for saving me from having to give somebody a front sight membership. Love this kid. How cool is that, Gary?
That was pretty neat. So,
yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right, man.
I think you send him the answers, too.
No, I swear.
Just kidding, man. Sam, you're great.
I wish I could. I want to knock this kid down a couple. I mean, when we're off the air and we talk, he's all arrogant and big-headed.
No, he is.
Unbelievable.
He's a good kid.
Knock this kid down a couple of notches. All right, man. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. As always, thanks very much for having me on. Really fun question.
You bet, buddy.
All
Talk
right,
to you
buddy.
soon. All right.
What are you doing in here? We're going to do a mic drop. Does he know about the mic drop?
All right. Okay, so now it's time for this week's mic drop.
Mic drop.
This week's mic drop would be hilarious if it weren't so sad and frustrating. Last week, Republican Mayor of San Marcos, Rebecca Jones, held a press conference because she doesn't want offshore oil drilling. When I saw this on the San Diego Republican Facebook page, I snarkily pointed out that this is exactly contrary to their platform. So, why is this happening? She ran as a Republican. They have a platform. Why is it a massive departure from the why is a massive departure from the platform being promoted? And well, why is she doing it? As soon as I posted it on my personal Facebook page, I got a text from Mayor Rebecca. She was mad that I brought attention to her anti-offshore drilling press conference. Mayor Rebecca, don't you think people know about your, press conference on the news? I'm not sure why she was frustrated that I was promoting it. Okay, so we aren't an offshore drilling show, nor are we a Republican show. San Diego County Gun Owners isn't about oil or drilling or Republicans either, so why am I bringing this up? Rebecca Jones was endorsed by San Diego County Gun Owners. She practically begged us for the endorsement. Then she got elected. Then she didn't help us in any way that we asked at all since she's been in office in any way, no how, no way. She won't endorse our women's program, Not Me SD, publicly, even though she said she would and said that she loves it. She won't participate in any of our events, like next week's Gun Prom. She won't push back on Nathan Fletcher when San Diego County Gun Owners stood up to him, despite being asked. Saying she is one thing, like a Republican or pro-Second Amendment, and then doing something else is now her track record. She continues to cave on issue after issue while she tries to navigate her way through her number one priority, her political career. She went on to text me, quote, I guess you want a Democrat to take my seat. I guess you don't see what's happening locally or nationally. And there it is. Rebecca said the quiet part loud. It isn't your seat, Rebecca. It is the seat you are currently in. You do not possess it. Do I want a Democrat to win? What difference is it if a Democrat's standing up for Democrat values or it's you standing up for Democrat values? Why would that make any kind of difference? Why would it matter if it's a Democrat doing nothing to help gun owners or if it's you doing nothing to help gun owners? If there is a boot on your neck, are you worried about the color of the shirt that the boot wearer has on? No, you're just worried there's a boot on your neck. What's happening nationally and locally is that politicians like you, Rebecca, are more concerned with which way the wind is blowing rather than standing up for what's right or standing up for the people who got you elected. What's happening is Republicans like you are scuttling their principles that you claimed to had when you ran for office, and it's dishonest and frankly makes you a coward. San Diego County Gun Owners endorses people based on 4 things: their Second Amendment opinions, which is pretty obvious, their viability as a candidate, see if they have money and people, and their character. Basically, are they a criminal? But the 4th we added for candidates like Republican Mayor San Marcos is effectiveness. We are not simply a gun club. You can't just blink your eyelashes at us and say a few Second Amendment platitudes and we're going to fawn. We're a political organization who knows snake oil saleswoman when we see one. San Marcos, it's time for you to get a new mayor, and that is your mic drop.
Mic drop.
All right, folks, subscribe to our podcast. Just search Gun Owner Radio and you'll find us. Leave a 5-star review to help the word get out. And please support our great sponsors: San Diego County Gun Owners, U.S. Law Shield, the Dillon Law Group, PRMI Mortgage, 365 Glacier Payments, Scott Vinson at Caldwell Banker Royal Realty, and National Concealed Carry Association. And a big thanks, Michael Schwartz, Sam the Gunman, and our good buddy Brendan Thomas and Joe Riddle. And folks, don't go anywhere. We've got Bob Siegel's coming up next with a fun-filled show. And don't forget, support all your Second Amendment rights and don't let the big boys step on your neck right here on FM 96, AM 1170.
The Answer.